Milwaukee Torrent soccer is back! Woo!
This is going to be more fun than the time we opened up the portal in the space-time continuum to play some socially distant soccer.
By the hand of Maradona.
Yeah, good times.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Hey! What's up, Coach?
What are you doing here? The game doesn't start for 4 hours.
We know, but the Torrent party starts right now.
For tonight's match introductions. First for the away side, Chicago City SC. Number 1, Zoe Welch. Number 2, Kate Ellison. Number 3, Cassie Weldon. Number 7, Megan Densky. Number 9, Mia Hollingsworth. Number 11, Bailey Faulkner. Number 12, Olivia Nabb. Number 16, Jasmine Esteban. Number 26, Maggie Glazer. Number 33, Kennedy Kershaw. And number 37, Sydney Parker. Chicago City SC is managed by Nick Mulvaney. And now, anchored together, let's meet the first 11 for your FC Milwaukee Torrent. Ladies and gentlemen, please rise. And now, to honor America and all that it stands for, as well as our freedom and all those who serve to protect it, the playing of our national anthem.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome out to Hart Park here in Wauwatosa, Wisconsin for tonight's Women's Premier Soccer League match as FC Milwaukee Torrent welcomes in Chicago City Soccer Club. It is a beautiful night for soccer here, 72 degrees, absolutely no rain in the forecast. Perfect weather for this Central Region Lake Michigan Conference affair. Well, let's take a look at the conference standings before the first kick of this game. After 5 games played, the Torrent are in third with a record of 3 wins, 1 draw, and 1 loss. With 10 points on the season, FC Milwaukee Torrent could leapfrog the Chicago Dutch Lions with a win tonight, as the Dutch Lions are in second with 11 points. Of course, a draw for Milwaukee would bring them even with the Dutch Lions, but do keep in mind that Milwaukee has 2 games in hand over the Dutch Lions, so a win could actually be very big for FC Milwaukee Torrent tonight. On the other side of the field, wearing those light blue jerseys with the red numbers, Chicago City SC sits in 5th place after 6 games played on the season with a record of 1 win, 2 draws, and 3 losses. And of course, just as I tell you, Chicago City SC will be on the left side of the field. The team switch. So we've got the Torrent in black on your left and Chicago SC in that powder blue on the right. So as I was saying, Chicago City SC sits in 5th place after 6 games played on the season. Again, with a record of 1 win, 2 draws, and 3 losses, giving them only 5 points on the season. However, that lone win came against FC Milwaukee Torrent back on June 5th. The game was held at Chicago, and looking at how these teams have fared since then, I think it's good to say that 2-1 win over Milwaukee now looks like a surprise result for Chicago City. We'll get to the rest of the standings, but first, let's get in this game as it is about to kick off. Once again, FC Milwaukee Torrent hosting Chicago City SC. And the first kick happens. Your referees this evening, Dylan Seitz, your center ref. Your far AR is Eric Orlowski. The AR next to us here by the cameras is Pat Danaher, and your 4th official is Matt Sumner. Looking at your starting lineups for tonight as well, starting with Chicago City, Zoe Welsh in goal for Chicago. Kate Collison wearing number 2, number 3, Cassie Weldon, number 7, Megan Dembski, as Chicago tries to push this ball downfield. Number 9 for Chicago. Now in the box, Chicago with an opportunity, plays it to the 6. Torrent looking for a goal kick, but AR on the far side said play on. Torrent clears it out of trouble, momentarily at least, as they look to get this completely under control. Milwaukee now still on their side of the half, but trying to work their way upfield. Continuing on with the starting lineup for Chicago, number 9, Mia Hollinsworth. Number 11, Bailey Faulkner. Bailey on the ball right now. Number 12, Olivia Knabb. Number 26, Maggie Leeser. Number 33, Kennedy Burchall. Number 37, Sydney Parker. And number 2, as I had mentioned actually already, Kate Collison. Now let's look over at your FC Milwaukee Torrent starters. In goal, wearing number 0, Quinlan Warren, who may have to put in some work here after this foul call against Milwaukee. Ball about 40 yards out from goal. Number 4, Jordan Rowley, celebrating her birthday today. She has 4 goals in WPSL play. Add that goal against Iowa Raptors, and she is sitting on 5 goals of the season. Ball floated into the box. No trouble there for Milwaukee as it goes out for a goal kick. Joining Warren and Rowley are Aaron Johnston, number 5 in midfield, a graduate of Marquette University. Number 11, Shannon McWilliams out of the University of St. Thomas, which is in St. Paul, Minnesota. Number 21, Kenzie Balseric out of Eastern Illinois University. Number 31, anchoring that defense, Kelly Swenson out of UWM. Of course, a grad there now who had a storied career with the Panthers. Number 18, Annika Washburn out of Case Western Reserve. From DePaul, number 14, Michaela Horde. Number 16, Katie Swenson. Of course, Kelly Swenson's younger sister, Katie, playing her college ball at UW Whitewater. Elsie Twombly wearing number 23 tonight. And Yelena Saver wearing number 3. 0-0 here early on in the 4th minute of play at Hart Park in Wauwatosa, Wisconsin. Last match, FC Milwaukee Torrent drew with Bavarians, their crosstown rivals, in a classic Milwaukee derby. Final score of that game, 2-2. We'll talk a little bit of how that ran down in just a few minutes. Much of this game so far on the Torrent's half, as Chicago looks to try to get on the board early. Burchall loses the ball. Now in possession for the Torrent. Twombly trying to race that ball down. Instead, it goes back to Welsh, who calmly collects and passes it up. Saver on the ball. Looking to play this ball up. Instead, once again, Welsh, no trouble for her. Torrent looking a little stronger here, though, as they're trying to put some pressure on that Chicago defense. Correction on Horde being a starter. She is actually not here today, and instead Addie Schock has replaced her in the starting 11 for FC Milwaukee Torrent. The aforementioned Schock on the ball at midfield. Plays it back to Swenson. Saver. Talking about goal scorers, Jordan Raleigh, I had mentioned, had 5 overall, 4 in league play. Yelena has been on fire, Yelena Saver, with 5 goals in league play. FC Milwaukee Torrent surprising a few people. Lost a good number of good players from 2019. But my goodness, other players have certainly stepped up, and some great signings by head coach Andy Davi to fill those gaps and in some cases go above and beyond. McWilliams sends this ball in the middle. Saver plays it out wide. Raleigh on the ball on the left. Plays it back into the box across the goal. No, Welsh steps out. Grabs the ball before there's any danger for her. Punts the ball to midfield where once again McWilliams gets a foot on it but sends it out of bounds for Chicago throw-in. Chicago City SC, WPSL team founded in 2018. So really 2 seasons under their belt. Ball goes out of bounds for another Chicago throw. And while they're having a down year this year, they tend to field pretty strong teams. Of course, the team out of Chicago that everybody keeps an eye on is the Chicago Red Stars reserves. Now an opportunity here. Twombly on the right side. Plays it into the box. Handled well by Chicago City. Sent out of bounds for a Torrent throw-in. Red Stars reserves having a loss on the season. A historic win for, again, Bavarians, Torrent's crosstown rivals. Seeing how things go tonight and the rest of the way for the season, it's not too crazy to think that FC Milwaukee Torrent could be pushing for that first place position. Raleigh on the ball, very strong, loses it in the end. But the Torrent with an opportunity to push for first place in the Great Lakes Conference. All thanks to that loss to Bavarians by Red Stars reserves. Saver trying to get that ball forward to Raleigh, but ball rolls over the end line for a goal kick for Chicago. Ball in the middle of the field. Cullison. Ball played up. Warren comes off her line. No trouble for her. She calmly collects the ball, looks around. Torrent players pushing up. No goals still early on as we are in the 10th minute here at Hart Park in this WPSL affair. FC Milwaukee Torrent taking on Chicago City SC. Chicago City, top of the box. Shot just wide of goal. That was Hollingsworth on the ball. Drew it across the box, took a shot with her right foot, looking to see if she could get Warren going the other way, but instead Warren judged that ball correctly as it goes out of bounds. Ball played into the right side of the box. Dealt with nicely by the Torrent defense. Chicago City still trying to threaten. But instead that ball is played out of bounds by Katie Swenson. Katie plays it back to her sister Kelly, who sends it long, but only as far as Courtney Whiteside. Parker on the ball. Plays it to her right. Nice strong tackle there by Raleigh. Torrent still in position. Washburn trying to make that run. Ball back at Washburn's feet. Washburn at the top of the box, cuts it into her left. Still Washburn. Plays it back. Saver on the ball. Torrent a little bit of patience here as they try to work this ball back in. But instead, Weldon will get it for Chicago. Now to Hollingsworth. Hollingsworth back to Weldon, who looks to play it up, but again, only as far as Shannon McWilliams. McWilliams and Washburn getting involved early on here for Milwaukee on the right side of the field. Perhaps Chicago sensing that they can get some headway on this side of the field, but so far, nothing doing for them. Twombly. Back to Swenson. Swenson on the ball again. Shove from the back. Referee will call that. That is a foul against Chicago. right in the middle of the field. McWilliams calling for it early. Swenson has other plans. Sends this into the mixer. Ball bouncing around, where it is handled by Chicago City. Strong run here by Hollingsworth. Plays it back in the middle. Weldon with a nice header to Collison. Collison and Swenson in a foot race. Swenson will win that one as it looked to go off of Chicago City. But instead, referee Dylan Seitz points for Chicago's throw. Faulkner on the throw to Weldon. Correction, this is Weldon on the ball now. Tries to play it back to Collison, but Milwaukee has other thoughts. Chicago City certainly making it difficult for Milwaukee to get through that midfield. Anytime Milwaukee seems to have an opportunity to go forward, Chicago City is there to build a bottleneck. Milwaukee's gotten forward a few times, but Chicago City is not making it easy on them. Swenson moving forward. Plays this out to her left. Rowley on the ball, one-times it into the middle. Opportunity there for Twombly to get on that. But the Chicago player got in just in time to stop any more of an attack. Weldon on the ball again. Plays it to Hollingsworth. Tries to play it in the middle. Swenson steps forward. Wins possession momentarily, then loses it. Hollingsworth very busy in this midfield for Chicago. Again, Chicago wearing the light blue. Torrent wearing black. Off the crossbar, almost catching Warren off her line. Warren will be thanking the crossbar later tonight, as that keeps the score 0-0 here in the 16th minute of play. Although FC Milwaukee Torrent does have a number of Marquette players and UWM players, whether they are current students or graduates, Torrent certainly has representatives from other schools. Joe Rowley, of course, from the University of Northern Iowa. Quite a great career there she had. I'd mentioned Shannon McWilliams out of the University of St. Thomas. Their men's team, by the way, moving up to Division I ball next year. They were playing Division III. Basically, they won their conference every year, and believe it or not, the conference voted them out of the conference because they dominated so much, which fast-tracks St. Thomas to Division I play. So they'll be playing Division I starting next year. Kenzie Balsaric coming out of Eastern Illinois University. Kat Smareka, by the way, not even in college, a Brookfield East high school player. So even some high school representation on the FC Milwaukee Torrent team. Chicago City once again trying to threaten here. Now on the right side. Hollingsworth sends it in. Second effort here for Chicago. Kelly Swenson steps in, wins the ball again. Seemed to be some miscommunication there between Swenson and one of her teammates. Nevertheless, Milwaukee on the ball. Twombly one-on-one here with the defender in the box. Gets to her right. Well, you got to give credit there to Sydney Parker, pushing Twombly off that ball, but Twombly with strong play, making her way into the box, earning a corner kick for the Torrent. Second corner of the game for Milwaukee. The Flood getting into full voice here. Drums added to the Flood arsenal. See if they can push the Torrent on to their first goal of this game. Nicely played in. Welsh gets a touch, punches it out. Ball bounces around for a bit, now sent all the way out. McWilliams trying to recover as Hollingsworth makes her way down the field. An off-the-ball run for Chicago City. Faulkner was wide open. Hollingsworth not able to get it in the middle. Kelly Swenson plays the ball back to Warren, who just looks to play to open space. Raleigh not able to get there, giving the Milwaukee Torrent defense a breather, if momentarily. Dembski on the ball for Chicago, where it is sent out of bounds by Katie Swenson. Couple of substitutions here for FC Milwaukee Torrent. Bonnie Lacey coming onto the field, as well as Elena Eckert. Taking a break is Jordan Raleigh. And looking for the number of the second player. Katie Swenson, number 16, taking a break as well. If this is your first WPSL game that you are tuning into, do know that substitutions are unlimited in WPSL play. You can return to the field, and you may be listening to that and going, what? I thought it was 3 substitutions or 5 substitutions, or like NPSL play 7 substitutions. Well, the WPSL is really looked at as a developmental league, mainly for college players still playing their college ball, so it gives them the opportunity to still play some high-quality soccer in the summer months. And rather than not allowing these players to return and play only a few minutes in each game, or in some cases, if you're a reserve player, you may not get on at all, the WPSL says, no, let's give these girls, these ladies, the opportunity to go out there and continue to play and take the substitutions rules and forget about them. Torrent looking to get behind that Chicago City defense. Not able to do so there was McWilliams. Chicago City playing very organized and a lot of 1-2 touch. Opportunity here for Kate Collison. Warren all the way off her line, out of the box. Beats Collison to the ball, sends it up to midfield. Torrent still in possession of the ball. That was Balsarek, who was able to play it back to McWilliams. Just realized that was creating a buzz in my ears. I don't know if it comes through at all on there. Trying to take that ball before it ran out of bounds. Obviously, that wasn't the case. Another substitution for FC Milwaukee Torrent. Abby Kloiber coming on the field. Taking a break is McWilliams. Shannon McWilliams very busy in this first 23 minutes of play. Easy to see why she's taking a breather. Kloiber certainly has big shoes to fill, as McWilliams held the line quite well as the right back. Kloiber with her first touch on the ball. Faulkner plays it in the middle. Chicago City, as I'd mentioned in the beginning of the game, giving the Torrent their only loss on the season thus far, a 2-1 win back in June 5th. Bit of a surprise for Milwaukee. Jordan Raleigh with the goal in that one for the Torrent.
Birthday girl Jordan Raleigh returns for FC Milwaukee Torrent.
Chicago City with a lot of talented players, but they are going without Hope Bailey today, who's been the captain of the club, as she was called back to Fordham University, where they are starting their preseason there. So she is done for the season in regards to playing with Chicago City SC. Another foul called against Milwaukee Torrent, as Washburn was pulling on the jersey of Hollinsworth. Four fouls now against FC Milwaukee Torrent. Chicago City, on the other hand, only one foul so far in the first 25 minutes of play. Fouls committed, that is. Ball played in the box. Kloiber uses her chest to pass that one off. Ball played up to midfield. Raleigh moving to more of a point player at this time, playing that classic number 9. Kloiber trying to get that ball up to Washburn. Weldon on the ball for Chicago in the corner. Plays it back. Burchall. Washburn. Kloiber playing it back to Warren, who's put under a bit of pressure, plays it out, but only as far as the 18, where the ball now finally goes over the end line. And I do believe it's going to be a goal kick. Yes, it is, as Eric Orlowski on the far side points for a Torrent goal kick. No goals in this one so far as we switch over to the 27th minute. Bonnie Lacey plays it back to Swenson. Swenson playing it all the way to the other side of the field. And ball comes right back to her. That's one of the things you do see with a Kelly Swenson defense is a lot of patience, a lot of confidence, a lot of calm play. Something that she has always been known for. Swenson at the end of the 2019 season actually went over and played some ball in Europe. Rumors are she may be going back there sometime soon. We shall wait and see if that comes to fruition. In the meantime, Olivia Knabb on the ball for Chicago. In a battle there with Elena Eckert. Eckert eventually wins the ball, but then it goes off of a Chicago player for Torrent throw-in. Washburn with a nice off-the-ball run all the way from right to the left part of the field. Unfortunately, wasn't picked up by the Torrent player on the throw-in. And instead, ball ends up in the hands of Zoe Welsh, sending her team up, looking to punt this ball. Game is settled in a bit now. And of course, just as I say that, we see a foot race here between Kloiber and Megan Dembski. Dembski, the winner of that one, who plays the ball off to Hollingsworth. Hollingsworth making her way into the box. Hollingsworth still on the ball, plays with her right foot. Ball off the post and saved by Warren. My goodness, what an opportunity for Chicago City. Hollingsworth finally able to break down the Torrent defense, makes her run in the box, plays it in the middle. I'm not sure who got the shot on goal, but thankfully that post was there. Warren with the frame of mind and reflexes to turn around and grab that ball rather than having it bounce off of her back like we've seen in so many soccer games. So credit to Quinlan Warren for saving the day there for Milwaukee, and of course most credit going to that post, keeping this game 0-0. Burchell on the ball. Chicago City getting their entire team on the Torrent half, maybe perhaps tasting a little bit of blood in the water after that opportunity they had. But of course, here we are, Raleigh putting on some pressure, not able to get to that ball as Sydney Parker plays it back to Welsh. Milwaukee being very careful not to get stretched out here as they keep several players back. Saver on the ball. Loses it. Ball now played over the Milwaukee back line. On the right side, nice cut in. Swenson, though, still there for Milwaukee. Well played by the Milwaukee defense. Slow getting up was the Chicago City SC forward, but everybody back up on their feet. Raleigh on the ball. Washburn making a run. Washburn again in a foot race with two other players from Chicago City. Sydney Parker being one of them, as she wins the ball and sends it out for a Torrent throw-in. Now we'll see our first substitutions for Chicago as Twombly comes back on the field for Milwaukee as well. Coming on the field for Chicago, number 25, Courtney Whiteside, and number 21, Lori Thompson. Addie Shaw coming off the field for FC Milwaukee Torrent. Taking a break for Chicago, Kate Collison and Megan Dembski. Washburn. Nice play to Twombly, not able to get there. Sydney Parker, very strong play from her, the left back for Chicago City SC. Seen her in a number of plays, a number of foot races, and she has won every single one of them thus far. Ball back to Bonnie Lacey with a nice cut back to her right. Sends the ball in the box. Welsh is there for Chicago. Grabs that ball out of the air, looking to quickly play this ball up. Looking at Mia Hollingsworth. Hollingsworth with the touch, plays it back. Foul called against Raleigh as head coach Andy Davi shakes his head. Shannon McWilliams stands at the ready to come in as a substitute. We'll see who she goes in for. Head coach Andy Davi speaking with the fourth official. I'm sure he was not happy with that call. That a bit questionable there from Dylan Seitz. Nevertheless, play obviously will continue. Washburn with a nice ball to Twombly. Twombly on the right side. Sends it in. Washburn able to get the rebound. Raleigh tries to play it back to Washburn. Ball still alive and eventually goes over the end line for another Chicago City goal kick. So Shannon McWilliams heads back on the field as Kloiberg takes a break. After about 10 minutes of play, we are now in the 34th minute. Still scoreless on this beautiful night for this WPSL contest. Nice ball across the field from Lacey to Raleigh. Raleigh in a one-on-one, not able to get there from Welsh. Zoe Welsh hasn't been challenged much, but anytime she has been called upon, she has been there every single time. Chicago City, obviously a team. Warren now gets there before there was any trouble. Chicago City, a team that obviously likes to play the ball quickly, wants to apply quick pressure to the Torrent. Anytime Welsh gets that ball, she elects to punt it. But so far, this Milwaukee Torrent defense not breaking. Ball on the right side, played in the box. Lacey gets a outside of the foot on the ball. Chicago City still in possession. Nice cut, right-shotted foot. Right foot shot is what I meant, of course. Hollinsworth, a very active striker for Chicago City SC. Very talented as well. We've seen her make a number of moves out there. Torrent is going to have to keep an eye on her and maybe look to double team at times. Twombly. Sydney Parker. Looks to shield the ball. Parker not happy as that was a call for Milwaukee. Torrent now with their third corner of the game. Ball played in beautifully for Milwaukee. Shot on goal. Not on goal, but it does go over the crossbar. But that's better from Milwaukee, trying to take advantage of that corner kick. Katie Swenson now comes back on the field for Milwaukee as Bonnie Lacey looks to get a breather as well. Swenson had been playing left back for the Torrent, now playing in that right back position with McWilliams pushing into a center back position. Jordan Raleigh showing some nice juggling skills there in the middle of the field. Unfortunately, doesn't go anywhere with it. Sorry, that was Saver, not Raleigh. Ball played in the box for Chicago. Swenson sends it out. Elena Eckert with some nice play there for Milwaukee. Raleigh on the ball again. Got some support. Washburn disappointed as that ball was played behind her. Milwaukee with an allotment of 9 substitutes today. Chicago City bringing 5 with them. Ball in the box for Chicago. Ball played off. Mistouched in the end. Washburn with a big sigh of relief as she saved the ball but pushed it right back in the pathway of a Chicago player. Once again, Raleigh trying to play this ball up to Washburn. Nothing doing there as it goes out of bounds for another Chicago throw-in. I won't be surprised if at halftime Saver on the ball for Milwaukee. Head coach Andy Davi talks to his team about being a bit more creative in that final third. So far we see a lot of passing going on, but would like to see more players be more confident in that final third, take some players on, and try to get a shot on goal at least for Milwaukee. Torrent with a total of 2 shots, but none on goal versus Chicago's 3 shots on goal so far in the contest. Warren out to Swenson. McWilliams plays it up to Washburn. Instead, Sidney Parker is there once again for Chicago. Nab plays this to Hollinsworth. Back to Nab. Nab in the midfield to Thompson. Castanon, number 16 for Chicago, having a quiet but effective game as the center midfielder for Chicago. Ball in the box now. Warren and Swenson on the same page for that one. And Warren passes it out to Swenson's sister, Katie. Washburn wins the ball out of the air. Tries to win it back now on the ground. Instead, trips over the Chicago City player's foot. Everybody stopping play, expecting a call from Dylan Seitz. Seitz finally signals play on. But it had seemed both teams had stopped playing, expecting a call there. Throw in now for Chicago, but first some substitutions for Milwaukee. And head coach Andy Davi about to be carded here from Dylan Seitz. Seitz not happy with a few words from Andy Davi. So a 41st minute yellow card to head coach Andy Davi. Dylan Seitz telling Davi to go ahead and talk to the 4th official rather than screaming at him. At least that seemed to be the message that was received. Well, we'll see if FC Milwaukee Torrent can use that red card to their head coach as some motivation to finish this half strong. Parker playing this back to Welsh. Raleigh almost with a foot on the ball as Welsh lost control of that for just a split second. Whiteside plays this up to Weldon. Kelly Swenson on the ball. Tries to play that up, but instead, once again, ball goes out for Chicago throw-in. Ball played up. Chicago looking to play this ball ahead. Torrent want an offside call, not happening. Warren with the ball for Milwaukee, sending her players up now as she looks to send this ball upfield. Raleigh taken down on the ground. Referee doesn't deem any foul there as well. Play on for Chicago. Raleigh with a quick touch to win that ball. Raleigh still on the ball. Still on her feet as she fell down for a second. Twombly on the ball right outside the 18. Tries to beat Parker. Instead looks for the shot. But goes over the touchline. Sorry, the end line for another Chicago City goal kick. Raleigh staying strong to win that ball off of the Chicago defender, who I believe was Maggie Leeser. And it looked like Raleigh was taken down, but ref called advantage for Milwaukee. You almost wonder, were they better off getting an opportunity with a foul call? Now for Chicago City, shot with the right foot. Warren gets just enough of a hand to keep that ball from going in the goal. And Katie Swenson sends it out of bounds for a Chicago City throw-in. Warren having to come up strong, just enough off of that right hand of hers to keep that ball from going in. I believe that was Weldon with the shot for Chicago. Well, who says 0-0 games in soccer are boring? This has been nothing but opportunities for both teams, more for Chicago City. But game really picking up here in the last couple of minutes of regulation. In fact, we are in the 45th minute, waiting to see 1 minute of stoppage time in this affair. Chicago playing strong to try to get that goal. Can Milwaukee make one happen against the run of play? We shall see here in the last 50 seconds of stoppage. Parker sends this out of bounds, safely playing it, rather than allowing Twombly an opportunity to win the ball off of her feet. Milwaukee with the throw. Raleigh to Twombly. Twombly still on the ball. Tries to cut it to her left, not able to do so. Referee calling for a foul for Milwaukee right here at the end of the half. Only the second foul called against Chicago City SC. Left side of the box. We're sitting about 30 yards out. Milwaukee having almost everybody up except for Katie Swenson. But even she sits well into the Chicago City half. Ball played into the box. Touch from Milwaukee off of the head. The referee calls a foul against Milwaukee. No, not a foul. Instead, that is the end of the first half here at Hard Park. A scoreless draw thus far in this first 45. But we have definitely had some moments in the game. Some questionable calls here or there, but nothing that really affected the outcome thus far. Milwaukee 0, Chicago City SC 0. We're going to take about a 7-minute break here, get some water, get refreshed. We'll come back with a first half analysis. Thanks for tuning in. You are watching WPSL Soccer here from Hart Park in Wauwatosa, Wisconsin. See you on the Welcome back to this WPSL contest between FC Milwaukee Torrent and Chicago City SC. Score remains 0-0, but it was anything far from boring. A pretty exciting affair out there. Opportunities for both teams, but let's be honest, Chicago City SC having more of the opportunities than Milwaukee. 4 shots on goal for Chicago City, and only 1 shot on goal for the Milwaukee Torrent. Now, Milwaukee Torrent did have more corner kicks, but what we need to see is some more imagination out of the attack from FC Milwaukee Torrent. Do want to talk quickly about who I felt was the first half MVP. Sydney Parker, the left back for Chicago City SC. She basically had nothing go past her. Twombly for FC Milwaukee Torrent had a couple of opportunities on goal, but a lot of one-on-one play with Parker. Parker's showing why she was an All-American in high school, showing why she has been a starter since her freshman year at DePaul University. In fact, while at DePaul, Parker has only not started 1 game in her career there. However, she has played and featured in every single game at DePaul. In fact, in this shortened 2020-21 season, she was named Big East Defensive Player of the Week in one of those contests. So Parker certainly showing that talent on the field today. FC Milwaukee Torrent, as I said, they just need to come up with some more ideas in the attack. Maybe start to go towards that left side rather than trying to go through Parker on the right side. Whatever the case may be, FC Milwaukee Torrent needs to go in their collective imagination and come up with some other plans for attack. On the other side, defense has held up well for FC Milwaukee Torrent. Obviously haven't allowed a goal in that first half. Definitely there were opportunities there for Chicago City SC. Warren doing a great job in goal, making a critical save near the end of that first half. We shall see what happens in the second half. We're going to take another short break. Thanks for joining us. My name is Simon Provan. See you on the other side of this half for the second half kickoff. Welcome back to Hart Park in Wauwatosa, Wisconsin for the second half of FC Milwaukee Torrent taking on Chicago City SC. 0-0 here after the end of 45, but taking a look at the stats, Torrent with 3 total shots, no shots on goal. Chicago City, on the other hand, 4 shots on goal. Making some critical saves was Quinlan Warren for FC Milwaukee Torrent. Looking at corner kicks, Torrent with 3, Chicago, none. Neither team with an offsides call, and perhaps that's an indication of what both teams need to look at pressing in the final third. And looking at the fouls, the Torrent had committed 5. Chicago City SC called for 2 as the second half kicks off, and the only card issued in the first half was to Torrent head coach Andy Davi there in the 41st minute. Got clarification on that. That was for going beyond his technical area. And as things do kick off, Chicago City with an early throw-in. Critical tonight for Milwaukee to get all 3 points in order for them to keep pace with the Chicago Red Stars. Red Stars, of course, sitting in first place, as they usually do, but with that loss to Bavarians, Milwaukee Torrent have an opportunity to keep pace with the Red Stars reserves and possibly take first place in the Central Region Lake Michigan Conference. In fact, if we do take a look at the standings, once again, Red Stars sitting in first with 6 games played and a record of 5 wins, 0 draws, and 1 loss. Beyond that, you've got Chicago Dutch Lions sitting in second, the Torrent in third. With a draw, tonight for Milwaukee, they will pull into a tie with the Dutch Lions. A win, Chicago leapfrogs the Dutch Lions, and they will be in second place. Sitting in fourth, then, is Bavarians SC, crosstown rival with FC Milwaukee Torrent. In fifth place, Chicago City. And, of course, in last place, the Green Bay Glory. No wins, 1 draw, and 6 losses. With no other Lake Michigan Conference games tonight, we have the sole focus in this Lake Michigan Conference match. Collison on the ball for Chicago. Trying to bring this in the middle. Now cuts to her right. Looking to get a shot off, but Kelly Swenson steps in, gets her foot on it. Collison looks to play the ball back. Canstonon playing it all the way back to Thompson. Thompson elects to take a shot. Warren is there, keeping that ball out of the Torrent net. Well, the next Torrent game is an away match, but they will not have to travel far, as they'll be taking on the aforementioned Bavarians SC. Bavarians home field in Glendale, Wisconsin. Just a short drive here from Wauwatosa. Chicago once again pressing in the box. Ball played across. Shot hits the crossbar. The clearest opportunity of the day for either club. As Bailey Faulkner mistouches that ball. Wide open opportunity. A nice run down the line from Hollinsworth, who also had a great first half. Ball bounces just before Faulkner can get a touch on it. And ball goes over the goal, and a collective sigh of relief from the Torrent fans. Score remains 0-0 here in the 50th minute of play. Chicago with a lot of great 1-2 touch play, just like we saw in the first half. Well, I think that makes it official. Crossbar and both bars to the left of Warren have each made a save tonight. 3 saves for the posts. Just about as many for Warren as well. Official stat sheet shows 11 shots for Chicago, 4 of those on goal, compared to no shots on goal for the Torrent and 3 overall shots. Shows a very fair picture of this match so far, with Chicago City dominating in that final attacking third. And Torrent having trouble getting over the half. And when they do, very sparse with the number of players up front. Going back to talking about the Torrent's next game, taking on Bavarians on Tuesday night. It'll be a rematch of the 2-2 draw that we saw here at Hart Park. Looking back on that game, that 2-2 draw was a fair result. And I like to say there was some poetry in that game. What I mean by that is the Torrent got up early, getting a goal from Yelena Saver from a PK. Walsh sending this ball out of bounds. And Raleigh will take the quick throw. Throws this ball into the box. A header now. Trying to get that ball to Saver. Again, Saver was that goal scorer on the PK in the 9th minute in that game against Bavarians. However, just 60 seconds later, Bavarians got an equalizer from Haley Block. That was a scorcher of a shot from 30 yards out. Milwaukee now bringing this ball downfield. Into the box. Ball's played. Parker once again heads it out. So after 60 seconds, that game was scored 1-1. Bavarians then would take a lead in the 21st minute as Michaela Schmelzer found herself all alone in the box and put that ball in the back of the net. Opportunity for Milwaukee here in front of the net. Not much happening. So after Bavarians scored their goal, it was a reversal of roles as the Torrent scored a goal just 60 seconds after that Bavarian goal. And that's what I meant by the poetry, the rhyming in that game. Not only that, but Yelena Saver scored that goal from about 30 yards out herself, just as the Bavarians did on their first goal. I guess it's a good example of Isaac Newton talking about how every action there is an equal and opposite reaction. I'm just waxing poetic here, Kevin O'Connor. Raleigh on the ball as the lights turn on here at Hart Park. Raleigh still on the ball. Nice step over, brings it down into the box, plays it with their left foot. In the box it goes, and Twombly with the goal! Milwaukee Torrent, Elsie Twombly, her second goal of the season here in the 54th minute of play. Wonderful play by Jordan Raleigh. She gets an assist on her birthday and gives a big gift to Twombly, who heads the ball in the back of the net, giving the Torrent the 1-0 lead. The Torrent with their very first shot on goal. They make it count as that one goes in the back of the net. Zoe Welsh not able to do anything with that ball. No blame for her on that. Twombly, though, give her all the credit for that off-the-ball run. And Jordan Raleigh, of course, getting through 4 players on the Chicago City defense to send that in with her left foot. And again, getting her assist on her birthday. And now Torrent really coming to life as Twombly's in the box again. Takes the shot, bounces off of a Chicago City defender. Chicago City looking to transition, but the Torrent have other plans. Another shot for Milwaukee goes over the end line. Wow, the Torrent really coming to life after that goal. substitution here for Milwaukee. Bonnie Lacey coming on the field, as well as Elena Eckert. Taking a break is number 9, Sophie Toscano, and Katie Swenson. Well, that goes to show the only stat that really matters in the game is that of the score. And the Torrent have the advantage, 1, Chicago City SC 0. Ball out of bounds, off a deflection off the Torrent player. This will be a Chicago throw-in. Well, a win here tonight would be huge for FC Milwaukee Torrent. Rowley now on the ball as it's misplayed. Taken with the left foot. Does not go on goal. Misplayed ball there by the Chicago City defender. Rowley, fully aware, tries to take advantage and trying to catch Welsh. Not being ready, but instead ball does go out of bounds for a goal kick for Chicago. Now in the 57th minute. Don't want to get ahead of ourselves, but again, Milwaukee, if they can get all 3 points tonight, they will keep well paced with Chicago Red Stars reserves. And we'll have to see how the rest of the year goes, but that July 18th game here at Hart Park against the Red Stars, which will also be the final home game of the season for Milwaukee, it would be quite exciting, and if that ended up being the de facto championship match for the Lake Michigan Conference. But first, FC Milwaukee Torrent has to finish out this game and, of course, play 3 others before that July 18th match. Well, Milwaukee's sending a lot more players forward. I'd mentioned at the half that perhaps they need to get the ball away from Sydney Parker on the right side and play on the left, and that's exactly how FC Milwaukee Torrent scored their goal. Oh, nice win here from Kate Cullison. Warren coming off her line. Warren with a huge save for Milwaukee, keeping the score 1-0. Kate Cullison winning that ball off of Williams. My apologies, off of Mick Williams. But Warren reading it all well. Rowley now on the other side of the field. Her in a one-on-one here with Parker for the moment. Looking to take another foot with her left shot. Calling for a handball. Dylan Seitz says not at all. And instead another goal kick for Chicago City SC. Well, McWilliams with a rare error as Kate Cullison from Chicago won that ball from McWilliams. But Warren, with the save of the game so far, had a big one in the first half where she got just enough of it to keep it out of the right side of the goal. And here came out strong, didn't hesitate at all, cut down the angle of Cullison, and Cullison sending that ball right into the body of Warren. Now in the 59th minute of play. Foul called against Milwaukee. 6 foul called against the Torrent. But in the middle of the field where there's not much danger. Nice win there by Eckert. Rowley seeming to have found an extra gear as she momentarily won that ball from Leeser. Speaking of Leeser, she is on the ball now, plays it all the way back to Welsh. Twombly plays this ball through, looking for Washburn, just a bit too far as Zoe Welsh comes off her line. Reading that pass perfectly. Well, I talked about how the next Torrent match is at Bavarians Tuesday, July 6th at 7 p.m. Their first game finished in a 2-2 draw here at Hart Park. A lot of those players play for Marquette and UWM on both sides. So it's always a contest in which each team's going to have an idea of how the other plays. The next home match for FC Milwaukee Torrent is Wednesday, July 14th at 7 p.m. as they take on Chicago Dutch Lions FC. Jordan Raleigh goes up for the header. Instead, on the ground, referee did not call a foul on that. Play continues here on the right side. Castano, my apologies, on the ball. Eckert now for Milwaukee. And Jordan Raleigh, after being taken down, will come off the field for a breather as Addy Schock goes on. Schock, a defender, coming on for Raleigh, a forward. So it looks like head coach Andy Davi. Oh, my apologies. That looked like a knee to the head right after the referee blew the whistle. No malicious intent there. Swenson just playing the ball, coming through the player. Results in just a throw-in for Chicago. And now a goal kick for Milwaukee. So Andy Davi looking to just play some strong defensive play here as Raleigh gets a breather. Won't be surprised if we see Raleigh enter the game in just a few minutes. Meanwhile, Chicago makes a substitution as Cassie Weldon comes back on to play for Chicago City, and Kennedy Burchall gets a breather herself. Nick Mulvaney, the head coach for Chicago City SC. He's actually the founder of Chicago City SC as well. Head coach hails from Ireland and has built Chicago City SC into quite a club down there in Chicagoland. Once again, some strong defensive play by the Torrent as Bonnie Lacey made sure to shield that ball and actually ends up getting a call for the Torrent. Chicago looking to play this ball quickly. Now a possible counterattack from Milwaukee. Instead, ball played just too far. But foul called against Chicago. After not having many calls against them, that's 2 in succession. That's 4 foul calls against Chicago City. McWilliams up to Lacey. Lacey lets it go for Washburn. Washburn on the right side. Sends it into the box. 2 players running on. Welsh punches it out, but only as far as about the 12. And McWilliams with a nice touch plays this to the left. Castano on the ball for Chicago. Collison. Nice 1-2 touch there again. A little bit dangerous in the box here, but Warren comes out. Nice communication with Kelly Swenson. As Swenson shielded that ball so Warren could pick it up. Had mentioned how Hope Bailey was missing for today's match as she was called back to Fordham University for their preseason. Chicago City also missing their other captain, Gabby Wittenhill. She had to come off early in the Chicago City's last match, which was against the Dutch Lions. She fell awkwardly on her back. And, of course, Chicago was thinking she may be able to return for this match. Not the case. Of course, Chicago not alone in missing some of their injured players. Kylie Sprecher for the Torrent not able to suit up today as she got injured in the last Torrent match. As Saver looks for a foul call there from the referee. Dylan Seitz right there to see what had happened, deemed no foul call. Lacey plays this ball into the box. A little too far for Eckert. Eckert, though, looking to win this ball back, able to do so, brings it back into the Chicago box. Twombly now plays it all the way back. Torrent with some 1-2 touch play of their own. Twombly trying to play this up to Eckert. But a bit too far once again as Zoe Welsh grabs the ball for Chicago City. Kelly Swenson showing some fancy footwork there. But in the end, ball does go back to Chicago. Castanon plays the ball up. Offside called against Cullison, who was just a step too far. Well played there by the defensive line of the Torrent. 67th minute, and we got our first offside call in this match. That is very unusual. Both teams playing careful against those lines of each other. Jordan Rowley shoved off the ball by Castano. Saver. My apologies, that was Saver. Have I told you this is the first game I'm calling this year for the Torrent women? If not, well, my apologies as I mistake a few players here or there. But I'm so happy Pfeiffer for taking care of the last two games. Dan Pfeiffer, our usual public announcer, back doing that duty for us tonight. And of course, Matt Menzel took care of the men's teams while I was gone, traveling with my family, enjoying some time in Orlando, Florida. But now back home and excited to be watching FC Milwaukee Torrent soccer. An exciting summer for Milwaukee. Another offside call here as Kate Cullison of Chicago trying to time her run, but not able to do so.